Peace and abundance, family. MJ the Mastermind here. Today we're reading from 365 Days of Self-Discipline. And today's reading is from day 166, as today is the 166th day of the year. And it's on handling emotions. Epictetus says that people with a strong physical constitution can tolerate extremes of hot and cold. People of strong mental health can handle anger, grief, joy, and other emotions. End quote. It goes on to say, while people usually associate self-discipline with the ability to resist temptations such as laziness or overeating, another equally, if not more important benefit of self-control is the increased ability to control your emotions. Both negative and positive feelings make our lives more exciting, but they can also jeopardize our long-term goals if we let them influence our behavior too much. For example, if you're impatient and tend to rush things, one wrong, emotionally motivated decision can destroy the progress of many months or years. A more disciplined approach to impatience, recognizing the difference between when the emotion can actually inspire positive change and when it's a sign of dissatisfaction with something you can't control, would serve you more than letting impatience dictate all of your behaviors. Positive emotions, as pleasant as they feel, can also affect you negatively. For example, being overjoyed with your results carries the danger of self-congratulation and subsequent complacency, which places you at risk of losing the habits that you had to develop to reach that success. A more disciplined approach to joy, expressing your happiness and gratitude for your success, and then reminding yourself that you still have a lot to learn and promptly looking for another challenge, would serve you more than jumping from joy and assuming that now that you've accomplished your goal, you're a world-class expert, and now nothing will ever stand in your way. Be vigilant of both your positive and negative emotions and understand the risk they can carry with them when left unchecked. I think this is a very, very important topic of not getting too high, not getting too low, but maintaining that balance of emotions. Now, always remember the formula. Your thoughts affect your emotions, which affect your actions, which dictate your results. So when we're talking about emotions, one of the ways that we can get out ahead of it and by proxy control our emotions is by being intentional with our thoughts. Also, a hack to controlling your emotions is also asking yourself the right questions. Because if I were to ask you, hey, what are some things that you're looking forward to? What are some things that you're happy about? What are some things that you're grateful for? It forces your mind in a specific direction to think about a specific thing, which then ultimately influences your emotions. So by managing your thoughts and being intentional with your thoughts, you can also control your emotions. Now, there was a portion in here that I want to revisit. And it talks about if you're impatient and tend to rush things, one wrong emotionally motivated decision can destroy the progress of many months or years. And I would go on to say that's like every area of life. If you're not able to control your emotions at your job or in your career, it's going to lead to conflict with your coworkers, maybe management, and ultimately lead to you losing your job. If you can't control your emotions and Be emotionally intelligent in your relationship. Same thing, conflict and can lead to a negative result. Even when it comes to certain skills, like let's take trading, for example. Many times in the past, I've blown an account because of letting my emotional control slip just for a few seconds. And like the passage says, like that can destroy the progress of many, many months or years. Now, over the years, I have myself become a lot more emotionally intelligent. Like I'm able to control my emotions when I'm angry, when I'm upset, and also know how to navigate conversations with people in that state. And I would say one of the number one things that has helped me is meditation, journaling, and knowing how to relax your nervous system. Because ultimately, the state of your nervous system is a prerequisite for how you feel and how you act. Like if your nervous system is relaxed, if you're breathing correctly, if you're breathing deep into the diaphragm and not the chest, and you're releasing the pelvic floor, then you automatically put yourself in a more relaxed state, a more relaxed energy, vibration, and you put yourself in a more coherent state. And when you put yourself in that state, it becomes easy to control your emotions. And I know we've always seen this where like somebody is anxious, somebody is hyperventilating, having a panic attack, and somebody says, hey, take a deep breath. There's a reason for that. There's a reason why that's so common. And the reason is like when you actually breathe correctly and you actually take a deep breath, and again, like when I said, when you breathe from your diaphragm instead of your chest and release the pelvic floor, you put yourself in the right state of mind to be able to make the right decisions, to be able to communicate effectively, and all in all, to be able to control your emotions. A lot of people are slaves to their emotions. When they get triggered, it's like they black out. They can't control what they say. They can't control what they do. But sometimes power isn't expressing your emotions. Sometimes power is in with restraint. Being able to restrain yourself, being able to be a professional and still communicate effectively and still be able to control your behavior and your actions even when your emotions are heightened. That is power. In the second to last paragraph, it says a more disciplined approach to joy, expressing your happiness and gratitude for your success, and then reminding yourself that you still have a lot to learn and promptly looking for another challenge. Be grateful, express gratitude, while also staying humble, humility. It says while reminding yourself that you still have a lot to learn. And always reminding yourself that you have a lot to learn and always seeking knowledge is wisdom. The wise man never stops learning. The wise man never stops seeking information. And, this is why in Proverbs, King Solomon talks about look for wisdom like silver and gold. Right, so express gratitude for your success while also remaining humble or expressing humility. Not getting too high, not getting too low. And your ability to control your emotions is one of the most important skill sets that we'll have in our lives. Because the person who can control their emotions has self-control. They have discipline. And the foundation of having those good habits ultimately leads to better habits in other areas of life. So if you can control your emotions, you can control yourself. And if you have self-control and self-mastery, there's nothing that you can't accomplish. I hope this video added value to you. If it did, go ahead and give me a thumbs up. I would really appreciate it. It helps the channel a lot. Thank you. Much love, peace, love, and abundance. Until the next one. Peace.